it levels the playing field too.
Right.
Right? Because we're all women. Well, those who are there, the women who are there, right?
Yeah.
We're all women. And so we can relate to each other. I mean, you start talking about, yeah, I went through this or that, and then you're laughing and giggling. And then it's a way to build that community, relationship, connection. And like you said, be able then to go into some of those deeper conversations about the truth of what God says, or sharing the gospel, however it may be.
Welcome to the Edge of the Map podcast. I'm your host, Curtis Elliott, and I am very excited to have Michelle Gash with us today to talk about a ministry of Go called Go Equip Her. Welcome, Michelle. Super excited that you're here, and really looking forward to picking your brain a little bit about your own journey with Equip Her. And what a lot of people don't know is that Equip Her did not start as a program. It started as a response to a need that you saw all around the world. So I'm excited to welcome you to the Edge of the Map podcast today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. I want to kick off with just a simple question. When you think about the women that Equip Her exists for, what are the kind of things that they're carrying that people don't see? And I'm talking about not just, just so the audience knows, you've traveled all over the world in lots of villages in different countries. And so what are the women dealing with there that Go Equip Her exists for?
Yeah. I mean, I think going to kind of what you alluded to in the very beginning, the things that they're carrying, unseen things, the physical. So, I mean, shame, guilt, the responsibilities of their families, any of those kinds of things, emotional type weights that they're carrying, the physical, the spiritual, all of those things. You see that all around the world. That women are carrying that stuff.
Wondering if you could think of an example of maybe in Guatemala carrying something that really no one knew until she was asked.
I'm thinking about just a time that we had with the women in Guatemala a few years ago. We do a lesson about like truth, lies, and God's promises, and really just identifying negative beliefs and lies that women believe about themselves, that not good enough or not loved or valued or worthy, whatever it might be. And just remember, I mean, many of the women just had this powerful Holy Spirit moment of like God revealing those things like that they've been carrying or walking. And even though they're believers and walking with Jesus, still some things that they had been holding on to. And so, but then finding freedom from that,
Wow. I really like that title, Truth, Lies, and the Promises of God. And how, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, like those are such key areas that, for our discipleship that we need to talk about, think about.
Absolutely.
Well, as you encounter these realities of women who maybe suffer in silence or, are burdened by maybe the needs of a child, or, burdened by, just expectations, taboo, things like that in their villages. What did you realize? You mentioned a little bit, but what did you realize was missing in their lives when you encountered these women?
Yeah. I think, many women as they're suffering in silence, but they are dealing with like a lack of confidence, or they have low self-esteem, low value, low worth about themselves. And so I think those are things that we saw that were identifying those, and then like, okay, that these are areas where women can grow and thrive. And once they have the confidence or the tools that they need, it changes things for them. So, I'm
thinking of what's fascinating to me is that women shoulder responsibilities all throughout in all families and in villages with kids and all the things that you're talking about. But yet they are the ones who often keep the community together, hold the family together, and in some ways lead in ways that we may not recognize.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, they
I
carry a
find that
lot of
interesting.
weight and responsibility,
Right.
within their communities. And they're so relational too. There's an influence that women have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely what you're saying. So
Yeah. Well, talk about that a little bit, the influence that they have, how it is that they are able to, I guess, share information with each other. Like, what is it about women that you've seen, not just there, but here,
hmm
that allows this sort of leadership effect to take
hmm
root in a
Yeah.
community?
I mean, the way God wired and created women, we're relational beings. And
Mhm.
so, it seems to me, as being a woman and other women I've been around, that we just have this natural ability to connect on a deep level with other women, to talk, to, just spend time with each other. So we have
Yeah.
these natural networks and relationships. You have that within your families, within your friends and neighbors. And so, it makes it, easy for
Yeah.
women to connect, right?
Right.
And to
Yeah.
just make an impact.
I think of some of the largest ministries in churches
hmm
are women's ministries.
Absolutely.
And the hardest ones often are men's ministries because
Sure.
we don't
Yeah.
connect easily.
Sure. Right.
Some do, but no, the point is that women are especially gifted and wired for this, and it's what makes it exciting. But what I also the fact that women often suffer in silence in places that are hard or maybe even abusive, or where survival is just really on the edge. That there's both this sort of deep gift that they have, but also this deep pain that they're carrying.
Absolutely.
And that just makes it a really interesting ministry to be involved with.
And in some of these places too, you find that, yes, women are able to connect on a deep level or have these deep friendships, but the other challenges in many cultures, it's taboo to talk about really deep personal things, right? Like, about what you're suffering, it's, you put on a face and you're going to be strong. And so, that's
and
where
culturally, like, it may not be acceptable,
right,
to
you just don't
share your feelings or
Exactly.
voice your opinion or this and that.
Right.
And so
you just don't talk about
it
that.
also,
Yeah.
it also leads to silence and isolation.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So they have each other, and there's community and, networks of friendships and relationships, but it doesn't always go to that deeper level where, I'm not the only one dealing with, whatever it may be that they're suffering from or dealing with.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think it goes back to when the weight that they're carrying is not named, Equip Her helps name it through a process that we'll talk more about throughout. But so none of these things are, you've experienced many of these around the world, and this has sort of been personal experience for you. And so I'm wondering how this became really personal to you, and how sort of Equip Her was birthed, so to speak. Just talk me through a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. Really it's kind of my spiritual journey and what I've gone through, especially in the past, 6 or 7 years. I grew up in church, fell away for a season, and then came back to the Lord. But I think I wasn't really activated, and my discipleship journey. How about, let's say that, got a relationship with Jesus, but wasn't quite activated yet. And then around 2020, when COVID hit, a lot of things happened in my life, and God just started moving. And I really started getting, like I said, activated, but also identifying these lies, these things that I was suffering from in silence. For example, the feeling like I don't qualify. I felt called to be a missionary, years ago, 20 plus years ago. Came to Go International. I'm like, I'm excited. And then starting to feel like, well, who am I? What am I doing here? I'm not seminary trained. I'm not a pastor. I don't have all these qualifications. And, Larry here at the office sat me down and walked me through scripture. and for those of you who know Larry, but he helped me, in my process, in my journey. But that helped me to begin identifying, because I'm walking with Jesus, right? Like I was a believer, am a believer, but I was believing these lies from the enemy, like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't qualified. And so once I started to name that and identify what that was, then I could start walking in the truth. Okay, well, what does God say about me? Or He's qualified me. If He's called me to do something, He will help. He will do the work in me and help me. He doesn't lead you somewhere and then just say, "Oh, good luck," Hope
Drop
you do.
you off.
Right, exactly. And so that was kind of my journey, getting to that, recognizing that in myself. And as that happened, I felt, because before it was like I had this lack of confidence, or like I'd walk with my head held down and, just some shame. And again, just not feeling qualified or good enough. And as I started to step into that truth, it was, no, I can hold my head up high because of who Jesus says that I am. He qualifies me. He's the one that equips me. So now I'm walking in confidence and boldness in the power of the Holy Spirit. And that in my life, I'm like, other people need to experience this. How many people are walking around, they're believers, but they've not been activated, or they haven't rooted out the lies in their life and walking in that truth. And so that's really where a lot of this came from. We started doing discipleship training here at Go. And then I went through what's called Women's Cycle of Life training. It's connected with community health evangelism.
Well, let me ask a little bit about that, because I know a lot of the times when you maybe you're on a mission trip and you're leading a women's conference or a group or a session, you don't know exactly who the women are yet. Talk to me about how you even develop that conversation. You don't go straight to, "Are you a believer?" You enter a different way.
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of times when we do these women's conferences and trainings, we come at it from a physical standpoint. So you may find, as you're engaging with women, having conversation, they're closed to spiritual conversation, or they're not believers. And so you may not be able to walk through. Well, I like to look at it as a house. Think of a house with a front door and windows. So the front door is locked. You can't get in. You jiggle the handle. You can't get in. But there's an open window, and that may be talking about women's health. What menstrual cycles and the stages that a woman goes through, or emotional things that she's going through. And you can have those conversations, and then that can lead to open doors with spiritual conversation. We try to make it fun and, talk about these things in a holistic way. And then that can open door for the spiritual conversations. So,
that's amazing. I've seen from afar some of the trainings, and really, really fascinating, and some humor thrown in there as well.
Oh yeah. We like to have fun. We'll talk about, in many places it can be taboo to talk about women's bodies, and you're talking, like I mentioned menstrual cycles and women's hygiene and all those kinds of things. But God created a woman and her body, and there's so many complexities to it, but it's beautifully and wonderfully made by God. And so again, trying to help remove that shame and guilt that has been associated with our bodies for so many years, and really speak truth and life into it. Like, God created you, you're beautiful, you're valued, you're wonderful in His image, and come at it from that perspective.
Yeah. And what I love about this ministry is that it's truly cross-cultural, because every woman deals with similar things, especially physically. And whether it's the pressure of child rearing, or, culture's obviously different, and there are different rules and that kind of thing, the different understandings. But at the physical level, this is a key entry point to having a conversation that leads to worldview level and who God is and how God made you.
Exactly. It levels the playing field too. Right? Because we're all women. Well, those who are there, the women who are there, right? We're all women. And so we can relate to each other. I mean, you start talking about, I went through this or that, and then you're laughing and giggling. And then it's a way to build that community, relationship, connection. And like you said, be able then to go into some of those deeper conversations about the truth of what God says, or sharing the gospel, however it may be.
When you have an Equip Her training, what does that look like? What are the things that you cover? What are your hopes for women coming out of that training? So just kind of break it down a little bit about the training itself, maybe, and what does it look like I mean, do you do it overseas? Do you do it
Mhm.
here? Where are they held?
Sure, yeah. So it's going to look a little bit different based on location. So if I'm doing it like cross-culturally on a mission trip, like with a mission team, most of the time it's going to be more of a women's health conference. So we could be encountering believers and non-believers in this.
Yeah.
And so again, we don't know that everyone's a believer, right? So we're going to come at it from a physical standpoint. We're going to be teaching lessons about the stages of a woman, that she's created in God's image and has value and worth. We'll be talking about puberty and childbearing and menopause. We'll talk about specific, specific women's hygiene.
Yeah.
We're talking about, we do this activity that's for your menstrual cycles, for women to know how to track, and fertility awareness and those kinds of things. And then using that, incorporating the spiritual components, again, that you're created in the image of God, you have value and you have worth. And so we like to come at it from that approach. I like to do those types of lessons on a mission trip.
Yeah.
If I have a variety of people that are attending. Now, what we also like to do is what we call like a training of trainers. And so these are for women who are more mature in their faith. And they really have a heart for discipleship. They're hungry for more. They're available. They're faithful to God. They're teachable. And so we are equipping them with these tools. We go through a lesson list of about 12 to 15 lessons.
Okay.
And we teach them basically how to teach these lessons to women. And we're talking more about multiplying disciples. What does it mean to be a disciple?
Again, so really, like, if I'm hearing you right, this is a on the ground, transferable. We teach you, you teach others.
Exactly. Yes. Whether that's you teaching or like doing another Equip Her training, or we're giving you tools and resources like how to facilitate what's called a discovery Bible study, learning how to share your testimony, putting together a network of who are the networks of people that are already you're in relationship with, what we call your list of 100. Recognizing it's not the job of the pastor to lead your friends and family to Jesus. You have that opportunity. They're in your network. And so giving you those tools and resources, the 3 circles, which is a really great evangelism tool to share the gospel with people. So, and not only that, you're not just sitting and receiving the information, but you're actively participating. You're discovering as you go. You are teaching as well when you go through these types of the training of trainers for Equip Her. So it's very interactive and engaging. You're learning on the spot. And then you have the ability to take it out from there and teach others and utilize the tools that you have. So
what I love when I've seen sort of this unfold, I love that the philosophy that we're working with is we are facilitating. We talk about training, but really it's a facilitation of ideas and sharing truth and asking people to unpack, to evaluate, to think carefully and critically. And I love that because what it does is it demonstrates that they're the experts. You're the expert over your own body, your own house, like your own life. And so we're not like the experts in the room.
Right.
So I love that. And I think especially it's important cross-culturally that we're coming in not as experts, but as facilitating change, facilitating identity. So that's neat. Well, maybe you could speak a little bit about what success looks like with Equip Her.
Success to me is multiplication, that this continues on, that as women receive this information and training, that they go and they do that themselves, whether again, it's an Equip Her training or they're utilizing the tools and resources that they have. They're leading or facilitating discovery Bible studies, leading people to Jesus, whatever that may be. And not only that, but that they're walking in confidence in the power and the boldness of the Holy Spirit, that they've been activated in that way. So yes, the multiplication, but also to me, I just, as I was, all of this kind of started, like, I just felt like the dream, the vision God gave me was just having an army of women that have been raised up to take the gospel in boldness and power. So to me, that's success. And I believe I'm starting, everything's a process and it can take time. It does take time, but I feel like I'm starting to see that happening. Two examples that I can list are, there was a woman who heard about Equip Her about a year ago. She felt like the Lord said, go do it. Don't ask questions, just sign up. So she did. She came in February. We had a training at the Go office, and she took the tools and resources, what she learned. She started implementing those things. She was facilitating Discovery Bible studies.
After the training, went and did this?
She just started doing it. She was asking me questions. I was trying to assist and kind of guide her along. I think she just recently started a Discovery Bible study at her work. She said, I felt like I received the tools I needed just to be able to share the gospel with people.
Wow.
And she led somebody from her work to Jesus. Again, stepping out in boldness.
But she was activated.
She was activated.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
She had activated and then felt confident to walk out.
Exactly.
Truth that she had discovered.
And so she came in November. We had another training, and I asked her to assist with facilitating and training, of the lessons. And she was like, absolutely. And then she shared her testimony, and she was encouraging these other women, and really was able to step into training the others and equipping them. And then came to me a couple weeks ago and said, I feel like the Lord is wanting me to do an Equip Her training at my church, but do it over 12 weeks. So one lesson per week, and equip them. And she's like, I still want to send them to the Equip Her training of trainers, but I want to do it here. I want to do more. She said, I wake up thinking about and excited about Equip Her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So to me, I'm like, that's what I want to see is the movement. It's multiplying. I don't need to be a part of every single training conference. That's not multiplication if I'm a part of everything. And that's right. I just love that she is stepping out in faith, and I believe God is using her and will continue to use her too.
I love it because that's how the kingdom works.
Exactly.
Right. This is kingdom multiplication, and God, this is how he builds his church.
Exactly.
I really am excited about the connection between women multiplying disciples in their communities and how that translates to ministry in the church, ministry in the community, ministry across the world. And I think that we're seeing that in lots of places.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask one more question here. For someone listening who feels stirred, there's a stirring maybe in them about this. Where do they start first?
Yeah, well, I would say, if you have a stirring, please reach out to me, and I'm happy to talk to you and share whatever, answer whatever questions you have about Equip Her. Check out our website, and honestly, just take the step and say yes to a training. So that's one of the best ways to, if you're curious, you want to be involved, just come to a training. We do a 2-day training, and, I've had women, they are long days, but I'll tell you, the women are like, they just fly by. It's so quick. And it's fun, and we're engaging and, and all this stuff. And so that's what I would say, reach out to me. Let me know what questions you have. I am happy to talk about it. Obviously, I'm very passionate about it. And so I want as many women as possible to go through this. Come on a mission trip too. That's another thing I would say is we do, like I said, we do women's conferences and trainings, health conferences, on these trips. And so you can be a part of it. For example, I'm leaving for Peru next week, and there are women who haven't gone through Equip Her, but I'm having them come just be a part and just sit in on the conferences that we're doing, and they can still help out, even though they may not be facilitating or leading one of the trainings. They can still be a part, and so get a glimpse of it in that way too. Just see it in a cross-cultural perspective. So,
that's incredible.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Hop on, check out our website, reach out to me, join a training, pray for the movement. Any of those kinds of things. So,
well, it's amazing that you were drawn into this part. It was your own experience, but it was in part seeing what women could not name for themselves, the burdens they were carrying that you couldn't unsee. You couldn't walk away from that without addressing it, without crying out to God for, what am I supposed to do about this? And so now Equip Her is helping women do that. It's helping them see themselves. It's helping them see themselves in light of who God says they are. And walk with others the same way. And so that's truly exciting that it's gone from truth to multiplication. And so, Michelle, this has been just a joy to be with you, to hear your heart on this. And so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is Edge of the Map episode number 2. And we're so thankful that you joined us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on the Edge of the Map. Every episode is just a small window into what God is doing through missional leaders who are taking the gospel into places most of us will never step foot. And at Go International, we're doing whatever it takes to walk with those leaders and help plant the church where it isn't yet. We want to invite you to be a part of that story. You can join a trip and experience the Edge firsthand. You can help send others through your support. Or you can fuel and fund the mission by supporting our programs, projects, and the people that carry the gospel further. Visit gointernational.org to learn more. Until all have heard, we go.